Hey guys, before I get into today's video, I just want to pop in real quick and let you know that I'm so sorry that this video is going up so late. I literally lost my cord that I plug in to my camera to upload the videos on my laptop, and I finally just found it. So I'm sorry that I'm having pretty much 3 videos coming at you all right now, but I just want to let you know. Thanks. Bye. What's up guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, welcome. Today is another challenge episode recap, and today we are recapping episode 4. So if you caught my last video or you just caught the last episode, you know it ended with a huge upset by Jay sending home CT. So that means that this upcoming week will be a girls elimination week. So the episode kind of starts off with people pretty much just being shocked at the fact that CT is gone. Some people think it's a good thing that it has just changed the game, because CT is usually pretty good with politics, and even though he's not always on the forefront of the drama, he seems to kind of have a role in kind of dictating who he wants to go in. With him being such a well-known veteran, you know, a lot of the times what he says is taken into consideration. So now that he's gone, things have kind of changed up a little bit. With it being a girls elimination week, Ashley is a little worried because she doesn't have really any alliances. So it shows Ashley talking to Maddie a little bit. To my knowledge, Maddie doesn't really have a set alliance at the moment, but Maddie has always seemed kind of independent. So it seems like Ashley and Maddie are starting to make a deal with each other. It even shows in one of Maddie's interviews that, you know, she never imagined herself working with Ashley or anything like that, but you know, if you can do whatever you can to make it to the final, you do that. Then it shows Kayla and Bear talking a little bit. Obviously, Bear is trying to get with Kayla. He finds her really attractive, he likes her, and Kayla seems to like not be having it. So maybe that's because she has a boyfriend at home, or she literally has zero interest in him and he's just being pushy. So Bear, being Bear, decides he needs to show a grand gesture of some sorts to her. So what does he do? He literally takes a fire extinguisher and sprays it all over the place. Why he would do that, I don't know. But according to Challenge T Instagram, I believe the Instagram handle is Challenge T911. He was fined $15,000 for doing that. So 1, that's stupid. 2, that makes me wonder how much they're actually getting paid to even be on the show. Like, even though they might not win the prize money, I'm pretty sure you're paid just to make an appearance on the show, or you're paid per episode. So he was fined $15,000. Stupid. Ashley happened to be in the room where he sprayed all that stuff, so Ashley is like ticked off at this point. She claims that the material from the fire extinguisher got in her mouth, and so she spit it out, but she happened to spit it out at Bear because he's the one that did this. So this causes a controversy. Also, according to that Challenge T Instagram, someone had been disqualified in the past for spitting on someone else. So according to Maddie, spitting in someone's face is extremely disrespectful. I do happen to agree, but there's something about this that really sets Maddie off, and so Maddie starts going off on Ashley even though they had just made a deal to work together. So some inappropriate things were said, and on Maddie's part, implying that Ashley has slept around, and Ashley doesn't like that comment, so she throws back an insult to Maddie about her having 3 DUIs. So they kind of are going off on each other. Then it's argued that it was inappropriate for Ashley to mention something personal, like bring up something personal about someone else. But I mean, part of being in the public eye, I think it's hard because anything you have done in the past kind of becomes public knowledge. But Maddie kind of attacked Ashley first, in my opinion, and Ashley maybe didn't need to go there, but I feel like Maddie instigated the insulting. So once again, the episode starts off with drama, but enough of that. Let's move on to the actual challenge of the episode. So this episode was called Cold War, and again, I have to say that the challenges this season are so intense compared to past seasons, or at least like the past 5, I would say. And so again, here's another challenge that is very dangerous actually and intense. So I am reading off my notes here, so I like to take notes during the episode just to make sure I don't forget anything. So the challenge is called Cold War. They were divided into teams of 5, and the teams were decided on randomly again. So what happens is team members have to dive into this water that is supposedly like freezing cold and find these puzzle pieces. Once they get all the puzzle pieces out of the water, then they can solve the puzzle. So supposedly the water was starting out at 62.3 degrees Fahrenheit, and that might seem like it's not that cold because, you know, if you walk outside and it's 60 degrees, it's not that bad. But my grandparents actually used to have a pool, and if it was below 70, we would not get in it, and it was like freezing. If it was like 65 even, it felt so cold, like I couldn't even get into it. So I can see how 62 degrees would be pretty cold. And then to make matters worse, the opposing teams can throw in ice blocks. So basically as the ice gets in there, it makes the water even colder. So it would only go down from 62. So the purpose is whoever solves the puzzle the fastest wins. Rogan, Josh, and Fessy, Nani, and Ashley. Second team was Nelson, Kayla, Dee, Jordan, and Swaggy. Team 3 was Tori, Wes, and Jay, plus Melissa and Maddie. And then team 4 was Anissa, Bear, and Bananas, Casey, and Big T. Team 5 is Bailey, Kyle, Corey, and Jenna and Jenny. So only 3 of them are actually going to be divers going into the water. And then the other 2 are going to be breaking these ice chunks and therefore throwing those in for the opposite team. So it's interesting to me that Jordan says that he's not competing in this challenge to win, but instead he's competing to make Tori's team win. So as much as I really am rooting for Tori and Jordan, it's kind of getting old that every single challenge Jordan is only thinking about Tori. Like, Tori is a strong competitor. I think she can manage on her own, but it seems like he's just doing whatever he can to get Tori in. So we all know that Ashley is good at solving puzzles, but the only way to solve the puzzle is to be one of the divers. However, Ashley's team doesn't pick her to be one of the divers. Instead, it's Rogan, Josh, and Fessy that are diving. And what do you know? They have some trouble with the puzzle once they get all the pieces out. If you're the first team, you might have a slight advantage because the water is at the starting rate and it can only get colder. So by the time the second team is going, the water had already dropped a few degrees. So team 1 actually finishes, even though it takes them forever to solve the puzzle. Team 2 had Nelson, Kayla, and Dee as the divers, and they're really struggling here. Dee refuses to quit because she just doesn't want to be known as a quitter. However, it's getting so bad that TJ has to step in and call it quits for them. So Nelson, one of the divers, he actually is like pretty much borderline hypothermic, and he actually gets taken to the hospital on a stretcher, and they have like warming blankets and things for him. So again, I mean, they were the second team to go, and the water wasn't as cold as it's going to get, and already there are some health effects going on. Team 3 is actually doing pretty good. They get the puzzle pieces pretty quickly and solve the puzzle pretty quickly. And as a reminder, Team 3's divers were Tori, Wes, and Jay. And we all know that Wes is a known swimmer, and so of course they sent him to be a diver in this challenge. So Team 4 has a little bit of a different strategy. For Team 4, the divers are Anissa, Bear, and Bananas. So basically what they're doing is they're unhooking their puzzle pieces before they have to lift them out of the water, because they're thinking the sooner they can unhook the pieces, the more likely they're going to be able to still feel their fingers. A lot of teams were like putting the pieces up out of the water and then unhooking them after, and I'm sure that was really hard with like freezing fingers. So they finished pretty quickly, and then by the time Team 5's going in the water, supposedly it was already down to 51 degrees, so it had already dropped 11 degrees since the beginning. So as a reminder, the divers for Team 5 were Bailey, Corey, and Kyle, and they were unable to finish. So the winning team ended up being Team 4, which were again Anissa, Bear, Bananas, and then Casey and Big T. So they all formed the tribunal, which was a new twist this episode, because instead of just having 3 people in the tribunal, all 5 of them got to be in the tribunal. So understandably, since it is a girls' elimination week, Ashley is the name that is being tossed around as probably getting voted in. And it was actually kind of sad because they didn't even make it all the way around the voting circle before Kyle pretty much was like, okay, Ashley, I don't want you to get embarrassed by having everyone say your name, so, you know, let's just all agree that you're going in. And she's just not having it. She's not happy. Of course, I'm sure it's embarrassing kind of and upsetting to get voted in. And then also she was already a little anxious about having no alliances, and she's kind of throwing a temper tantrum, but I guess that's just her way of coping. She pretty much said that she's gonna win the elimination and come back. Now, before the tribunal picks the 3 people that they want to interrogate to go against Ashley, they do have a night out. I think the only purpose of showing this night out was showing that Big T was trying to make a deal with the alliance of Jenna, Nany, and Tori. So it seemed like they were kind of making a deal with each other. However, according to Kayla's Twitter, they thought maybe someone put her up to it or they didn't take her seriously. But as of right now, Big T thinks she has a deal with those 3. So when it does come time to pick people, the tribunal picks Tori, Maddie, and Dee for their 3 people they want to interrogate. Of course, Tori does say that she wants to go in on her red skull. She's been saying that since the beginning. And the tribunal wants to know, like, what will she do for them? Like, Big T pretty much asked her, like, if I do you this favor, are you gonna do me a favor? And Tori honestly says no, she can't agree to that. Dee seems like she doesn't want to go in at all, and Maddie kind of says, you know, if it's my time, it's my time, but I don't really, you know, want to go in. So when it comes down to the purgatory elimination, the tribunal decides to vote in Dee. At this point, I'm kind of happy because out of the 3 girls that are up for elimination or to go into elimination against Ashley, I would probably pick Dee. Maddie, I'm not like a huge fan of by any means. Tori is one of my favorites, and Dee has just been causing too much drama. I'm over it. Her attitude lately, I'm just not into it. So they nominate Dee, and I'm thinking, okay, Ashley wins eliminations pretty often, especially if it has to do with the puzzle. She has a really good chance at coming back. So this is where it gets a little controversial. The elimination is called Code Breaker. Basically what they do is they have to find a corresponding symbol. So they spin like a giant ring wheel thing, and it gives them a symbol. Then they have to go and find the corresponding symbol. Once they find that symbol, it's going to have something on the back. Once they have all 5 tiles, then they will flip them over. So they don't know what's on the back yet until they find all 5 tiles. Come to find out, the back of the tiles have a name of a season on it. The season of the challenge. And once they flip all 5 over, they have to put the seasons in chronological order. Now I'm thinking right away, okay, Ashley should know this. One, she's probably been in some of these seasons, and if you have been on the challenge before, I think you kind of know that you're supposed to know these like trivia questions, or at least know the history of the challenge. And so Ashley, I am thinking, is clearly at an advantage here. Dee even admits in one of her interviews that she is from Australia. She has no clue about this, so it's pretty much going to be a guessing game for her. So luckily for Dee, she actually found all 5 of her tiles first. Ashley was struggling to find one of them, and she kept going, but she was really struggling with one of them. And so Dee had her tiles first. So although she has an early lead, Ashley's still trying to get all of her tiles, and Dee has no clue. Like, she's completely clueless. So at this point, I'm thinking as long as Ashley can hurry up and find her pieces and her symbols, she'll be able to get the seasons in order before Dee. Then it gets a little controversial because Wes, clearly one of Dee's alliance members, and they've had each other's back since she first came into the challenge, he starts helping her. Like, he's basically asking what seasons are there, and he's telling her what order to put them in. So in my opinion, this is just really annoying. As much as I like Wes, I feel like the elimination is a time for you to prove yourself, and if you don't know what you're supposed to know, then that's your own fault. But regardless, he is helping her, and she's still struggling. So I'm sure it's hard to hear because people are yelling, and then they figure out Wes is trying to help her, so then they're yelling more, and they're yelling louder to confuse her. So even though Wes is trying to give her the answer, she's still having trouble getting him in the correct answer. So she's had like 2 or 3 checks, and they've still been wrong. So at this point, people are telling Ashley to keep going, like, keep going. She doesn't know. As long as you get your tiles, she might be able to get it. But unfortunately, she guesses right, and she wins the elimination. Well, again, I'm kind of annoyed because I wanted Dee to go home over Ashley. So let me know your thoughts on this week's episode. Did you see this coming? Were you surprised that Dee was able to beat Ashley in the elimination? And who do you think is going to go in next time? Other than that, thank you for watching, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. Dude, what's that smell? God, that reeks, dude.